Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sam. I am a cell on the organism Earth. You'll understand in a few minutes what I mean by that. I happen to be one of probably somewhere between 6 to 8 billion other cells that live on the planet Earth. I would like to be able to introduce to you today something that I call the real solution. I introduce it today, August 21st, 2011, because I believe that the planet Earth is in crisis. Financial crisis, countries around the world that are in chaos, the stock market's going up and down. I don't think if I presented this idea a year ago, it probably would have even been listened to. But I think because of the crises that are going around the world, that there's a certain amount of motivation by individuals as well as countries to be able to listen to a very real solution to the problems that we have. I'm going to talk first a little introduction, give you some analogies, and then I'll come to the real solution. What do I mean that we're cells? The basic concept that I'd like to introduce is for people to be able to realize that in the same way that we have a body with cells, the world, the Earth, we are comparable in terms of that. Now, a little introduction about myself and why I think this way. First, as you can tell, I'm Jewish. Not all the other cells on this planet are Jewish. In fact, there are very few cells in this planet that are Jewish. The same way that in an organism, a body, not everybody's a heart, not everybody's a brain cell, but we need to have different organs in our bodies in order for us to function fully. And I believe in the planet, we need to have different people that have different ideas and different cultures in order for the world to be able to function better. My hope today is to be able to present a two-pronged approach. One, to be able to deal with the financial crises that are happening in the world, and the other to start addressing some of the social issues as a way of being able to create a planet that is a lot better. Now, I mentioned to you I'm Jewish because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I believe that there's a master of the universe, a creator. This planet couldn't have just been a random act. I'll tell you why. If you look at the macro and the micro of the world, look at the way the solar system is set. In the center you have the sun, you have planets that revolve around it with just the right amount of centrifugal force and gravity so they don't fly away. Go down to the micro level. Look at the cells, the smallest organisms in the world. They have the same exact symmetry. They have a nucleus in the center. You have electrons that are revolving around at different rates and at different paces with no explosions, and everything exists in harmony. Personally, I don't believe that could have just happened randomly. I believe there's an intelligence out there. And that intelligence saw fit to create human beings. Imagine, in this vast universe, after all these years that we've been exploring, I believe we're the only intelligent life that's out there. There's nothing else to the contrary that's been proven to us. To the extent that we've done research so far, the best we've come up with is that there are planets that have the potential for life to form by virtue of having water. But no life has ever been found. It's too hot in certain places, too cold in others. And even if there's life, I'm talking about intelligent life. We are the only intelligent beings so far to have come forward in the planet Earth. As such, my proposal today is that we use that intelligence to be able to create a solution to the world problems. Problem number one, the finances. We right now have a situation where markets around the world are crashing. One of the problems is that countries' budgets have gotten to a point where they've overspent their capabilities. In America, for example, where I come from, although I'm broadcasting now from Israel, there's a $14 trillion budget deficit where we're in debt. And it's crushing us. The debt around the world is crushing us. All of the currencies are being devalued. And we have a solution to be able to deal with that, but we need to think as intelligent beings to make that happen. And now, the real solution. Out of the 7-8 billion people that are on this planet, we all inhabit what we know as countries, similar to the body. In a body, we have organs. We have a heart, we have a brain, we have a liver, and there are billions of organs and cells in each one of them. Now imagine in a body, we have red blood cells and we have white blood cells. Imagine if for some reason the red blood cells decided one day that they were better than the white blood cells, for whatever reason. They look better, they're prettier, they're richer, they're stronger. And they go and they attack the white blood cells. Or the reverse. Imagine the white blood cells one day. We're purer, we're cleaner, we're white, you're red. And they decide to now attack the red blood cells. What happens with the organism? It's called a cancer. It'll eventually die. But yet we, the intelligent beings in the entire universe, haven't figured out that we need to learn in our different organs, different countries that we live in, that we need to be able to live in harmony with each other. And it doesn't make a difference if you're a liver cell, you live in Liverpool. It doesn't make a difference if you live in America, if you live in Russia. It doesn't make a difference if you're black or you're white. We need to recognize that every cell, every person, has a value and has a reason for being here. And for the time that we're alive, we have potential. And what I'd like to do is for us to be able to find that potential in each one of us. But that requires the following steps. First, the financial solution. In all these little countries that we live in, there's a certain budget in every country that's delegated for the purpose of defense. In America, for example, I'm throwing out random numbers. Imagine, for argument's sake, that America last year had to spend $100 billion in order to defend its country. On its military, on its intelligence, on every aspect that goes in to defending our country, it took $100 billion. And we're defending it because we're afraid that somebody else will come in and in some way sabotage and hurt our population. Because as intelligent people, we still haven't learned that we need to live in harmony. And as a result of that, the resources of that country have put out $100 billion for the sake of defending itself. France, $50 billion. England, $20 billion. I'm throwing out random numbers. I have no idea what they are. But you'll be able to let me know and figure it out, and we'll see what this all means. I'm going to give you the plan. Imagine, in order for this plan to work, I am calling for a 5-year moratorium on war. Every country agrees for the next 5 years that the borders that you have, the finances that you have, the people you have, the resources you have, we're stopping. Freeze frame. Keep it for 5 years. There's no need to extend anywhere else for a 5-year period. If after we see this for 5 years, if we can't tolerate this and we decide after that to go on war, fine, we'll do that. I don't think we will, but we'll get there when we get there. But for the next 5 years, I would like to propose the following solution. Every country, in year number 1, takes 10% of the amount of money that they have delegated towards defending their countries. That 10% is divided in half. So in America, for example, if we use $100 billion, $10 billion for the first year, $5 billion will be kept by their own government for the sake of improving their situations internally. You can use it to heal the sick, feed the poor, fix your roads. Whatever way you feel internally, those $5 billion can be spent. But the other $5 billion gets put down into a table, one pot, where every country is going to do the same thing. 120 countries, 180 countries, whatever number there is. Every country takes 10% of their budget. Now, if you're a small country and you have a $1 million budget, so then you're going to take $100,000, $50,000 you'll keep, and the other 50 will go into the middle. And every single country will agree to do that. Because for the next 5 years, there's no need. Now, we're still keeping 90% of it because we're a very insecure people. And I can understand that. 10% the first year, 20% with the same formula the second year, 30% with the same formula the third year, 40% in the fourth year. By the time we go to the fifth year, one half, $50 billion of America's budget, $25 billion will go towards internal services. Feeding your poor, healing your sick, fixing your road, building hospitals, whatever you need. The rest of that goes back into the middle. I don't know what the figure is, but whatever that's going to be in the middle of that pot after the 5 years is going to be an enormous amount of money. What are we going to do with that? That money is going to wipe out the deficits of every country. America is being crushed under a $14 trillion budget deficit. A debt that they have incurred over the course of the last 200 years of their existence because they haven't learned how to live within a budget. Now look, I'm a teacher. My wife's a teacher. We've learned in our life, thank God, to be able to live with a certain standard that accommodates our budget. Countries haven't learned to do that. They're working on it now, finally. And my hope is over these next 5 years, while we amass all these funds to wipe out and take care of the debt, each country will resolve and commit to maintaining a balanced budget from there on, which would mean that in 5 years, there is no longer any debt around the world. Everybody starts fresh. The stock markets can flourish. The world, because there is a real solution, can now take a deep breath, step back, and realize we have a plan to resolve the problem. It requires cooperation and intelligence to be able to move ahead and to say, you know what? Why are we all flushing our money down the toilet? Imagine if there was no war during that year. You just wasted $100 billion and nothing even happened to you. Because that was the budget and we spent it. And if there was something that needed to be defended against, that's because somebody else aggressed against us. 5 years, moratorium, problem solved. The next step is the social. I'm going to put forth an idea that I'd like to share using the similar model of the cells and try and get us to try, not for 5 years, for 1 day. Today is August 21st, 2011. Once this goes on to YouTube, what I would like for you to be able to do is the following. The first thing on the first aspect is I'd like for this to go viral. I would like for this to be able to not have 1 million hits in the first 24 hours. I would like to see 1 billion hits in the first 24 hours. Because I believe that change on this planet is going to come from the center and not from the extremes. The extremes have been governing the world agenda. I believe that once the center takes over and we have our agenda, we're going to be in a much different place. So I would like for the center to speak up. There's a lot of apathy out there. People don't feel they can do anything. They're hopeless and helpless. We're not. What you can do right now is when you see this video, look at the time, and you start watching this YouTube. When you finish with it, make it viral. Whatever that means. Call up your friends, email it, do whatever you got to do. But if this is something that you believe is a real solution and has potential to work, make it viral. What that will do is there'll be so many hits out there, people will come out looking for me, and then I'll be able to tell you how to be able to accomplish the next steps to get this to happen. But there has to be interest. If we don't care, why should anybody else? Use your intelligence. Now the social. Step number 2. For 24 hours, from the time that you watch this YouTube, I want you to look at your clock right now. See the time? For the next 24 hours, I'd like for every person who is watching this YouTube to look at people as your cells, your neighboring cells. Imagine for a second, you wake up in the morning and you've got another cell next to you. We have to recognize that there's a partnership in the same way that in a body the red cells and the white cells need to work together. They don't really have to like each other all the time, but we got to cooperate. It'll be nice if we liked each other. It'd be nice if we loved each other. That'll be the next step. But for today, for 24 hours, for people to react towards each other with the recognition that we are cells in the organism of the planet Earth. Each person has a value, has a meaning, has a purpose, has a right to be treated with respect. That little partner you woke up with, when you come into the kitchen and you see the children, and you see your parents, your siblings, when you go out on the street and you see the other cells, we're all cells. Imagine if you treated each other with that kind of respect, recognizing that I may not know your value yet. You may be a liver cell, you may be a heart cell, you may be a brain cell, you may be a skin cell, but if you go cancerous, the whole body goes down. I need you to be well. And we treat each other with that understanding for 1 day. Now if you do that for 24 hours, I want you to stop when you look at your watch and you see that it's been 24 hours, and I want you to ask yourself how you felt. And if it feels good, I'd like you to try it for another 24 hours. Now if you're interested and you feel that this is worthy of following through, and make sense. I'd like for you to make this viral, and if people are interested in following up with me, my name is Sam Frankel. I live in Teaneck, New Jersey, and I love you all. Thank you for listening.